Hello, this is Cindy Mazzaferro with Powerful Beyond Measure Summit, where you awaken to your power within, where everything and anything is possible. Today, we're just going to talk a little bit about a couple speakers that are joining us to promote and to educate you on upcoming interviews that are scheduled for this week on the summit. So we have to my, well, I guess this is what I'm going to point to the lady in the white. Her name is Barnett. Try to do that on the computer. It's a little difficult. Let me just tell you a little bit about Lisa. Lisa is helps people who are struggling with so different kinds of issues, who don't understand why. And if you're feeling kind of confused and not sure what you're doing, Lisa actually can zero in on those blocks. And she does it using the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records, Lisa will tell you what they are and how they connect to your many lives, not just this own personal life that you're going through this moment. So I'm going to let Lisa talk a little bit more about that. And then we also have here on the other direction, and that's actually opposite for me here while I'm doing this, Joanna Ross, who is a passionate and understanding true human potential within, and she actually helps you to understand your infinite aspects of our universe and how it relates to you individually, and to how to unveil that which resides within you for greater aliveness, unity, harmony, gratitude within every part of your daily life, as well as your whole being. So we really have a wonderful little interaction going on here, because it's all about the individual. And we're coming from different vantage points. Oh, and look, we have a little spiritual dog. How wonderful. How is she so beautiful? He or she? Lisa? Oh, we lost Lisa's voice. She's coming right back.
Yeah, a little girl, Zizi.
Oh, and she matches the sweater. So we love to have spirits of other beings. So wonderful. So thank you for both joining us. Lisa, would you like to tell us about the Akashic Records and what you are going to be talking about in the summit?
Sure, I would love to. Thank you. So the Akashic Records are the records of your soul's journey through time immemorial. So people often ask me things like, isn't that about past lives? Kind of, why do I care? But the truth is that your past lives affect this life. We live lifetime after lifetime, learning, growing, deepening in our soul work and purpose. And so they're very connected. We write soul contracts based on past life relationships. We want to finish karma based on past lives. So when we work in the Akashic Records, that's really what we're doing, is working with all of our soul plan and soul purpose that we've come to work through.
Wonderful. It's very exciting. I've had my Akashic Records revealed to me through a couple of different people, and using a book and the prayers that go with it to actually open to that knowledge, and it's fabulous. And Joanna, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you do that?
Yes, I'm an intuitive channel, and I have been channeling various beings from all over the universe. I'm so blessed to be a conduit for that. And what I do is I assist people that are going through similar life journeys in their awakening, and similar, we call it Akashic healings, when they're moving through various struggles in their life and how it relates to all the concurrent nows that we live on, now realities and other parallel realities, other lifetimes, because everything is now. And we move through the ideas of who you are within as a holographic seed, if you will, a divine living light seed within the whole entire universe, and how that's encoded within you so that you can move with greater empowerment to know that you're fully a divine seed of God, you're a fully divine seed of the all-knowing, and we can move through these by understanding that there are aspects of us that we're required to move through and we've signed on to move through, so that we can understand more of who we are in the grander aspect of our multidimensional reality. So it's really about looking at who we are in the most minute aspect and then growing it to the most vast, because we're interlocked and interlaced and entangled with all aspects of spirit, all aspects of life.
Wow, that's amazing. So you can see that there really is an interconnection between both these wonderful women and how they serve the world in a greater capacity. So what I'd like to really do is, a lot of people on our summit are coming because they're struggling in their life. They're unhappy with some aspect. So Joanna, can you tell people, because I know you speak about this hidden potential and that we are part of the universe. Can you talk a little briefly about how we can hopefully try to teach participants on the summit how to see themselves as this beautiful glowing light that I know you speak about?
Yes, and it's wonderful. And the reason why I was so intrigued with you, Cindy, is because the one thing that you talk about and you're so passionate about is creating the inner knowingness of how truly infinite and powerful we are within. And that's, I mean, all of the books that we've written, and I say we because I have a team of beings that I'm always entangled with, and it's never just me. We come forward with the idea that you're a divine seed of God. Everything is. It's perfection in its essence of being birthed. And that's so that instant of birthing from the breath of life, from the breath of source, the all-knowing creator, we can move in any direction we so desire. We allow ourselves these daily challenges, these daily, I mean, and let's be honest, some of these challenges are pretty profound. I mean, I've had many of them myself, you know, and we're on our knees begging to creation, what is this all about? But we have them and we've manifest them because we're at this point in time now where we're integrating not just this life and many other earth lifetimes, but we're integrating all of the aspects of lives that we've ever lived on. We're asked, you know, our celestial lifetimes in Sirius and the Pleiades and the Arcturians, I mean, all of these lifetimes that we're concurrently living right now. And we're coming to this multidimensional awakening in which, like, wow, I'm much more than a physical being that I thought I was. So who am I? And a lot of people that awaken have these grandiose questions about, well, who am I? Where am I going? What's my career vocation? I'm not interested in this anymore. I want to go in this direction. So people really awaken to that divine essence that's bubbling and stirring, which is the spirit within. And they find out this profound power that's, you know, kind of stirring within them. What do I do with it now? And so we help direct them into, okay, well, let's look at your true excitements and your true desires to be a part of the service, a part of the participation of humanity now, because it's truly, it's like a propulsion of spiritual energy that's awakening. So that's the power, that's the essence, that's the God essence within all of us that's now coming to the surface to say, well, I'm more than I thought I was. So now what? How do I get entangled here and get busy with spirit?
Exactly. That is really well said. And really this inner struggle that we're experiencing is natural. We go through different transitional times in our growth and our part of life. You know, we start as a baby and teenagers and college and marriage and mother, father, and then the kids all move out of the house and we get retirement. It's like, oh my gosh. And through all these time frames, we continue to evolve and change. And then that's when this conflict that we have inside, this is where what Lisa can also use. And Lisa goes into the Akashic Records, which has already been pre-scripted, if you will. But you still have free will, but it's kind of like what Lisa's going to talk about. I'll let you talk about this. She talks about this soul contract that you're supposed to be trying to grow and learn and evolve. So Lisa, so Joanna had mentioned about this inner struggle that we want to do something more, but like what? You know, and also I'm not anything special. I'm not this divine person. Yes, you are though. Yeah. And we limit ourselves. So how can people connect, and why would they want to connect to the Akashic Records for that wisdom?
Well, the way I see it very often is that most of us live hundreds and hundreds of lives here on Earth as well as other planets. So we have our human information, those past lives, and those gifts and talents. And we have otherworldly, other planetary gifts and talents and wisdom. So we have a soul lineage, which I consider our gifts. I always see it kind of like a pearl necklace. So if you imagine you had a pearl necklace as an author and all the lifetimes here on Earth that you could write a book with ease, that you could channel information, that you could get published, or, you know, that people sought after your wisdom. Each one of those beautiful, profound lives that you really mastered your gifts and talents, we bring here to Earth to use and utilize and share. So one of the great things in the Akashic Records is that we work with our beings of light, the record keepers that keep our records. So everyone has really dozens of Akashic beings of light and those specific guides, which are pure divine source energy. They're not ETs, they're not on other planets, they're not somebody, your grandmother or somebody else who's crossed over. These are literally divine source beings who are just here to support you and you alone. So when we start to tap into that guidance and have conversations with them, you can say, what are my next steps? What blocks? What fears? How can I clear them? How do I reclaim those gifts and talents? How do I step into this power and remember the truth of who I am? So often when I work with clients, I'm able to express some of those lifetimes in which they were powerful, divine feminine goddesses, that they were great healers in temples, whether it was ancient Greece or Egypt or other times and places in the last 5,000-7,000 years, right? So we are so expansive as we start to either work in the records through having a consultation or learning to access your own soul guidance with the Akashic Record. You start to be able to see this and know this truth kind of in a really tactile sort of way. Like, I have this memory of standing in this temple and doing this healing or teaching these classes, having these followers. We go, wow, that's me. I feel it, I believe it, I know it. And we literally can integrate a lot of that information right down into our bodies right here and now.
It's so, I find it always very perplexing why people don't think they're that important. They're not that powerful. They're not that spiritual. That they're not even that type of energy to think that I have a frequency that impacts people. Either one of you, and you can talk to each other too. You don't have to wait for me to delegate here. What can you say to the people listening about this beautiful being that they are? It's not the physical skin, but that light being that we all are. Either one of you who would like to,
I think it's timely. Everything is, I believe, everything is timely divined, and I think this is the generation, this is the lifetime in which all of humanity, as we are in every lifetime, every moment, we're gifted the blessing to reawaken to the essence within. We're blessed with the idea that we're part of a much grander family, and it spans through much farther generations and planetary systems and galactic systems and heavenly systems. So this is the lifetime in which we're realizing and reawakening to that divine essence. And because of the limitations and the duality and the separation that we've lived within, and we've contracted into that to learn the lessons that we have to bring our universe into a higher state of being. However, it's allowed us to really create egoic patterning. It's societal imprints, the energetic imprints that we come to this earth with, and we're working through them as what we call the Akashic learnings or the Akashic rememberings, where we're opening ourselves up into the grander soul of all that we are. When you awaken, you expand your memory, you expand your understanding of who you are as a divine being. So you actually have access to tap into those frequencies and bring them to life, as Lisa had said. So it's very beautiful that we're given this opportunity to reawaken and embrace the essence of what we're remembering, ourselves connection and the connection we're with.
And Lisa, that's wonderful, and I agree with what you're saying. Lisa, how can we get people to be more receptive to feeling our essence, to feeling this great divine power that we have within ourselves?
Well, I really do agree with Joanna, and a lot of it is kind of a whole planetary thing that's going on right now. So many of the souls here embodied now have come to help with a huge shift from literally from war to peace to awakening. And when we can really just simply start to tap into our hearts, when we can move into a place of self-love and, self care and, really caring for ourselves, living in our hearts, starting to expand it in a simple way to those around us, we see things change with much greater ease. And they're simple. To me, the Akashic Masters have just recently, I've just finished my second book, which is called From Questioning to Knowing, 73 Prayers to Transform Your Life. And so they've given me all of these prayers to make it easy for people to use these sacred vibration of prayer, to shift into self-love, to let go some of the trauma, to release old vows, to let go of our old kind of concept of blame or victimization. And so my easy answer, I think, for that is accessing some very simple, beautiful, high vibrational, profound tools, that are showing up in the world in the form of healing prayers or guided meditations or simple sorts of healing modalities. And so we really are being offered so many different ways. So whatever kind of, different things resonate with you, I know that there's, millions of choices out there. So at this point in the world, there's no reason to not say, let me check out the internet. Let me listen to a telesummit and hear who resonates with me, whose energy or information or gifts are in sync with me. And a lot of that we talk about as, say, your soul family, because we have our big soul families that we've traveled around with for a long time. So some of the listeners might resonate with one of us as, oh, I feel like I've known that person a long time. That's connecting up with that soul family, right? And then that energy is just much easier to receive because it's in alignment to who we are as a soul in this life and this time.
Yes.
And I really like people to realize that if you're watching this or if you've already signed up for the summit, your inner soul is already communicating with you. You're already awakening to some unrest, some new seeking that you're in pursuit of, and that you don't have to have all the answers. Part of the fun is actually not having the answers and surrendering to not having the answers and letting it come to you, your gifts, your calling, how you need to be directed into the new path that you're moving into. And I think so many times that people linearly think I've got to go this way, to a conceptual end result or a finish line. And that when you actually remove that product, that outcome as the finish point, as the satisfactory check mark that I've gotten somewhere, and you can just rest more in that peaceful state of being, of inner harmony and resonance with who you are. And part of that is loving, self-love. And we hear a lot about self-love and self-care, and that's really critical. But I think it's just not about just taking extra care for yourself. It's about, for me, it's really awakening to our, wow, I am part of a much greater universe, a much greater energy. And they're telling me I'm powerful beyond measure and I have this wonderful power within myself. And yes, you do. And that's what the summit's all about. It's about you learning that you have this enormous, innate, divine power within yourself, every one of you.
Yeah.
And that, like Lisa was saying, that there's many different teachers. I've used many teachers, and every teacher, every speaker you listen to in the summit, you're going to hear something that resonates with you.
Yeah.
And that's the magic in this summit, when you don't have to go and fly somewhere, you don't have to pay for hotels, you can have it at the luxury of your home, when it's comfortable. Your whole family can participate, which is always great. And I'm just going to say the site in case you're not going to stay on for the rest of it, but it's www.powerfulbeyondmeasuresummit.com. And it's just started today. So if you go, you'll be able to still see today's speakers. Myself was the introduction and welcome, and what the summit's about and the goals. And then Derek Rydell, who is fabulous, a wonderful, wonderful speaker, is one of my very special. I learned a lot, and he talks about how his life was horrific, alcoholic, drugs, just down in the street, and how he actually was caught in a coral fire wreath, and he couldn't find his way out. And it was so symbolic to what his life was like on the physical land and what happened to him. So I'm not going to tell you what it was and how that really transformed his life. And I think our physical conflicts, struggles that we have on our physical land is, as both Joanna and Lisa talked about, those are our struggles, those are our growth opportunities. Mm-hmm. And I think when we can reframe our struggles from, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, looking at as what can I learn from this? Why is this here in the first place? What am I supposed to be learning and growing? Mm-hmm. Don't you both agree that that's part of the whole growth?
Well, I the thing that I found out in all of my years of ascension work and path work, and my book too is about the path work, is how to work through the daily sacred honoring of who you are and creating that sacred time with spirit. And my team was just tuning in as you were talking, and they were saying that that the people that you've got on and the speakers that you've got on are going to be offering their different sacred gifts in a way that we used to in kind of ancient times, where these sacred temples would be used in different ways of different mystery schools. And so many of the people have returned in this lifetime. We say return, but it's all now. And we're coming back into reawakening the gifts that we've used in many other lifetimes, as Lisa, that's part of her work, is to allow you to rediscover the brilliant ancient healer and the ancient seer that you are. And so it allows people to see that we all have these beautiful sacred gifts, and it's about our understanding, and the perspective that we take in every moment is a divine blessing. And so if we see it through the eyes of that, which may be hard at times depending on what we've manifested for ourselves to move through, but what I found is that we manifest the brilliance based on what we're able to master and move beyond. So we never ever master something, and we never manifest anything from the soul level that we're not able to move through, because we're divine, incredible beings of light. We manifest it all. Nothing is out of our control. Nothing is out of our ability to move beyond and have that lesson be reflected to us in a divine loving way. Sometimes because of our separation, we choose to create, great challenge, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can be very beautiful and blissful. And that's what many people are finding now. We're manifesting at profound rates. We're allowing ourselves to heal ourselves. We're allowing these beautiful synchronicities to align with people that we've had other soul lifetimes with. So we're all coming back to do our very sacred work. And for me, we have sacred temple teachings where, we come together once a month, and we remember who we are with using sacred tones and sacred colors and shamanic chanting and those things that we've done in other lifetimes. It's just natural to us to begin and awaken to that now.
Right. And bringing up symbols and music and colors, that's all just energy and vibration, and just being aware of that in your surroundings, nature and music on the radio, all of that is just messages and vibrational links that will help you connect. Well, this is really exciting, and I just want to tell who the speakers are this week. Again, I already mentioned Derek Rydell was today. Tomorrow we have Marcy Shimoff with Happy for No Reason, Love for No Reason, and she speaks about miracles. And she is a tremendous international speaker, wonderful, and she talks about living in the miracle zone and how that happens. And, again, it's that energetic flow. It's really in a presentation of you with that energy and how you get there and how you stay there. And it's remarkable. She actually wrote the foreword to my book, a really great friend and very wonderful, loving person. And then we have Kim Serafini from Australia. And she actually created a wonderful new technology. It's called Mind PT, which is mind-powered technology. And in that, she actually has created where they have visual slides, 1,000 slides with images and messages, words like affirmation statements or powerful statements, and then you have music in the background. And they scientifically proven, all these different institutes proved that just by watching only 3 minutes a day, that you would have between 6 to 8 hours long-lasting health results. And it's amazing. So we watch TV, the negative and the negative, and watch our computers, and we're looking at this. So much of our life is filled up with our negative perception, as Joanna was talking about, our negative imagery, and that's just infusing our inner bodies with negativity and illness. And so just by watching, and I actually am offering you my Powerful Beyond Measure Mind PT session that I created with Kim, that is fabulous, and I encourage you to look at my site, and if you want it, to purchase it, I have a very low price on it, $19.95 as a launch for this summit, but it's wonderful, and just by watching it, even at fast speed, it changes the mental connections, which actually has a positive effect on your body. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday we have, unbelievably, John Gray with his brand new book, Beyond Mars and Venus. And he talks about how the 21st century, how the female and the male parts as human beings and the feminine and masculine energies are all screwed up because we're taking on different functions in this century, and it's affecting our hormones and our health and the role reversals and what that's doing to marriages, and why so many of our marriages break up and our relationships deteriorate, because we're having different viewpoints of where we need to be. And again, we are trying to create who we're supposed to be, and all along in that creation we're losing who we really are, the essence of who we are. So a powerful interview for sure. And then we have Andrea Pennington, who is also a sexual therapist. She's from London, and she actually speaks about sexuality, masturbation, relationships, being articulate in what you need in relationships. Really wonderful. And then we have Iris, who is talks about love and different attachments to love, and how our relationships are based on, she uses the word attachment. She has, like, I think 4 different types of attachment to love. And sometimes we tend to suffocate our partners because that's how we get enough of our love. We want so much of them to suffocate us because we're never full from inside. So really wonderful. And then, of course, we have Joanna Ross on Thursday as well, and you've met Joanna here. And then on Friday, we have Lisa, who is already spoken to on the Akashic Records. And then Jim Oliver, who also is a fabulous musician, and he is showing you how this music can actually change the health inside of you and the lack of illusion. So it's really wonderful, and I hope you all, if you're listening to this promotional video, to sign up for Powerful Beyond Measure Summit.com. So thank you both for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the summit. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Take care.